Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Parker Pod. On today's episode, we're joined by someone who knows what it means to bet on himself and win. Preston Carey and I go way back to our days when we used to work at Crunch Fitness together, but his journey started long before that. From playing football at Coastal Carolina University to stepping on stage and placing second in his very first bodybuilding competition, which, by the way, he trained for entirely on his own, Preston's story is one of discipline, resilience, and taking risks, like moving to Tampa without a safety net to chase his dream of becoming a personal trainer. Today, we're going to dive into how he approaches training both himself and his clients, the mindset that drives his success, and how he helps others push past their limits. Preston, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Can't complain. Let's just start off with, you're a personal trainer now at Crunch Fitness, but before that, you were at Coastal Carolina University and decided to take a leap of faith and come down here to Tampa to a gym that was just opening up and be a personal trainer here. What inspired you to take that leap of faith and to bet on yourself?
So there was a few things. So first and foremost, I have a friend that I was friends with since we were in elementary school, and he lived in the Clearwater, Tampa area for about 6 or 7 years. And I would come down and visit him, and he'd always say like, "Hey, man, you got to move down here. You got to move down here. You should just become a trainer and move down here." Because he was also a trainer at Crunch Fitness at the time, and he was like, "You should just do that. It would be great." But I always would like kind of like you know how that is, like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna do it," and then I never did it. And then as the years went on, I kind of started taking it more serious. And at the job that I was working at, I was working with a logistics company at the time. And I would meet with a lot of guys that were in their 40s, sometimes even 60s. And I would mention, like, yeah, I have this friend that lives in Florida, and he keeps telling me I need to move down there to be a personal trainer. It's not really my career path, but, and they're like, they would tell me these stories of when they were in their early to mid 20s and they had opportunities to move to this place or that place and they just never did it. And then here they are, 30 years later, and they're regretting not making that decision. So even though these people weren't really super close to me, that kind of resonated with me. Like, I don't want to be that guy in 30 years thinking like I should have took that risk. I'd rather just do it. And if I fail, then at least I know I tried.
Yeah, like you were asking people around you and kind of bringing it up
Yeah.
for like some kind of answer, I guess,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
answer was just resounding like do it.
Yeah.
There was never someone that was like, no, stay home with your family. Stay, don't do that. Don't take that risk.
The only people that did that were like, I had some family members, like,
Was the family, right?
was my family that didn't want me to leave for personal reasons, but everyone, like friends, coworkers, they were like, "Man, take the risk, go do it." Like, I regret not doing this when I was your age. I had a chance to do that, and then when it all happened, so we had our first manager at Crunch. His name was Wally. Him and my friend Matt, they worked at a Crunch together years ago, and when Wally became the personal training manager at the Crunch in Wesley Chapel, he asked Matt if he wanted to come back and train there. And Matt was like, I'm not really doing the training thing anymore, but like, I have a friend that may be interested in doing it.
Mm.
And he's like, okay, shoot me his number. So I keep getting this FaceTime call from this random Florida number. And I'm like, I'm not answering this phone call. And then one day I'm leaving the gym, getting ready to go to work. And I get this FaceTime call. I'm like, I'm just going to answer this call. The middle of November. And I answer the call, and it's Wally. And he's like, "Hey, man, like, got your number from Matt. Like, I'm a personal training manager at Crunch." And I'm like, "What's up?" Like, I'm like super confused. And we chatted for about 5 minutes. He kind of just like, he didn't really ask me about personal training. It was more so just like, "Hey, he told me like you were a football player, that you were this. Like, I've seen like you competed, and like you seem like you really are into training." And I'm like, "Yeah, like, I really like training. Like, I've kind of done it my whole life." And he's like, "Yeah, man, so I've never done this before, but I'm just gonna go ahead and hire you." And I was like, I was so confused. So I'm like, that was weird. It was super unprofessional. And I'm like, all right, man, like, I thought he was kind of just BSing. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And then like I get off the phone call with him, and he sends me an email, and it's like, first day of onboarding is November 28th. It was like the day after Thanksgiving. And so I call him back and I'm like, hey, you know I live in Maryland, right? He's like, oh no, I didn't know that. Can you be here on the 28th? And it's like 12 days away.
Like, no regard. Hey, can you
Yeah.
move here in less than 2 weeks?
Yeah, can you move here in 2 weeks? And I'm like, and like it just like it happened to be fate, man, because like my lease was ending at the end of that week, and like I was on the fence if I was going to renew or not. And then also on top of that, like work has been really like I really started to hate what I was doing. Like waking up every day when I would go to work, I despised the thought of going to work. And then when I was there, it was even worse. So I told myself, I go, I'm gonna think on this. If anything comes across my desk today that pisses me off, I'm done. And lo and
Okay.
behold, I give it about an hour into work. They come and slap a report on my desk, and like after I finish everything angrily, and then I walk into HR's office. I go, "How much PTO and like all like paid time off do I have?" And they're like, "Well, you've never used it, so you have about 7 weeks." And I go, "I think I'm going to go on vacation." And they're like, all right. I was like, yeah, I'm going on a 7 week vacation. They're like, where are you going? And I was like, I don't know, wherever it takes me. So I put in all of my PTO. I rent a U-Haul, pack up my entire apartment. Mind you, I haven't even told my family yet. So I pack up my mom found out when I drive to her house
In the
for
U.
Thanksgiving in a U-Haul. So I'm at Thanksgiving dinner and they're like, why are you in a U-Haul? Like, are you moving to different apartments? I was like, I'm actually moving to Florida. And they all start laughing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm dead serious. And they're like, what? Why? And I was like, oh, I'm doing this thing. And of course, they all were like, this is something I've thought about for years, but like never taken serious, but it just felt right at the moment. Nothing they could have said to me in that moment would have changed my mind. Even though they all were telling me, you're crazy, you're stupid. And I was like, I'm going, I'm gone. So that Thanksgiving dinner was around like
Awkward.
6.
Awkward.
Super awkward. Silence, finish eating, and I'm like, all right, well, like I'm on my way to Florida, and they're like, yeah, okay. Like they still don't even fully believe me.
Yeah.
And I hop in the U-Haul and I just go, and I drive down to Florida, and then my mom finally calls me. I'm on the road for like 5 hours. She calls me at like 1 in the morning, and she's like, are you actually going to Florida? And I was like, yeah, I'm on my way there now. And she was mind blown about that. But that was like how that whole situation happened. It was crazy.
Dude, honestly, I really, really applaud you for taking that trip after Thanksgiving. I would have been taking a nap. I mean, how'd you stay awake on the road?
A lot of energy drinks,
Yeah.
and just like it was like almost like a rush.
Yeah.
It was almost like a rush. Like it was like taking that huge risk. Like the whole time I had this feeling in my stomach that was like normally you would get when you're like scared, like or you feel like you have like your heart is in your stomach, and like I was super nervous like the whole way down there. Like, is this smart? Is this dumb? Like, but like I've always been the type of person that I do so much better when my back's against the wall. So like I was like I'm putting myself in a position that like it's all on me and I can't be mad or blame anyone else but myself at the end of the day, and I refuse to not let this work out.
Yeah, that feeling, all that is perspective, right? Because that feeling is up to you to determine, right? So you can determine, is this feeling a bad feeling or is it a good feeling? And because you're someone that typically thrives with your back against the wall,
Right.
that's actually a comfortable place for you. So it's always going to be a good feeling for you.
Yeah.
What kind of conversations did you have at Thanksgiving dinner with your family? Like, I assume that it was partially like Preston's full of it, but like at any point, did anyone kind of take you seriously and like ask you your plan or anything like that?
Yes. So one of my older brothers, Ty, he was the main one that was like, why in the world are you moving to Florida? And I'm like, well, I kind of explain everything that like I talked to Wally and this and that, and like I kind of have this set up. And he's like, at the time, I'm working at a job where I'm making 6 figures. So he's like, you're leaving a job where you're making good money to go take a risk. And he thought like he's like a very traditional person where it's like you work 40-hour week, you make your money, you pay your mortgage, you raise a family, you have a home. Like that's always been his like uh, for a perfect life for him. but what I was doing didn't feel like a perfect life for me. So that was basically the conversation that we had, and we like came to an understanding that like, hey, what you look at as this is the ideal life, this is how life should be, this is how work should be. I don't look at it like that. Like I can't, like he's a truck driver and he makes really good money doing that. He has a very great life, but I'm like, I can't go to work every day unhappy. And I think like once we talked about that, and like he was just, then like his mindset kind of shifted to like, well then you better make it work. And
Yeah.
it was like a challenge, and I like that. It was like he shifted his mindset from like you're an idiot, you're dumb, to like you then make it work.
Yeah. Prove
Prove
us
us wrong.
wrong. Prove
Prove
us
us wrong.
wrong. Yeah, absolutely. I share a little bit of that family kind of like not believing that you're gonna do it. Literally up until like my car was packed, my parents were like, are you actually like do you really want to go to Florida? And I'm like, well, my entire life is in the back of this Jeep, so I don't know what you guys think is
Yeah.
going on here. Like
Right.
everything's in there. My cousin flew up from Florida to drive down to Florida with me in case I needed someone to relieve me while I was driving. Like this is happening. He stayed over last night. You got like, I think people that take risks, people often, you know, especially when they're in a comfortable place. I'm not saying like your brother's like I mean, he's in a comfortable place, right?
Yeah.
Like he does his
Yeah.
work, he does his job.
He loves, yeah.
They want what's best for us, but they don't know what's best for us. And truly only we can determine what is best for us. He's like, Preston, look, you got all these, you're making six figures. You're only required to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
All these things are great. And you're like, yeah, but those 40 hours suck.
Yeah.
I may be working 50 or 60 personal training, but those 50 or 60, I feel great all 50 and 60 hours. And then guess what? Outside of that, I can do whatever I want and also feel great. So I'm great all the time. It doesn't suck for 40 hours anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a perspective that I don't think a lot of people, you know, really take into consideration when they pick a job or pick a career path. They just see a salary and see stability, and that's the only thing that they want from that.
100%.
Kind of sidetracking a little bit from that. I mean, you played football at Coastal Carolina. Do you think that playing football and, you know, playing football, especially at that level, it requires a lot of risks and a lot of dedication? Do you feel like that played any role in your decision making with leaving Maryland and moving to Tampa, and also like taking a risk on yourself with personal training?
Yeah, so I would say 100% it did, because a lot of the lessons I learned when I was in school from coaches, from guys that were older on the team, they've always resonated with me throughout my entire life. So it was like, although like I never talked to them about the situation, I knew how they would feel. And I think like even going to Coastal, in my opinion, was a risk, right? Like I had offers to go to bigger schools and chose Coastal based off of a feeling. And again, my family said I was crazy for that, because I could have gone to NC State, I could have gone to Maryland, I could have gone to Rutgers, and they're like, "But why did you choose this? Like this is a smaller school. Like you could be playing in the Big Ten or the ACC. Why choose this school?" And I was like, when I went there, it just felt like I'm supposed to be there. And how I ended up there was crazy. I was there on vacation with my family, and the coach saw my post on Facebook and was like, "Hey, I see you're in town. Are you here for the camp?" And I was like, "No, I'm here on vacation. I don't even have any football stuff." And he said, "Well, we have a camp tomorrow. You should come out. Like, we want to see you in person." And I was like, "I don't even have any gear." And he's like, "We'll give you gear." And like, I went. That's how I ended up even ever going there. They were recruiting me before that, but I never thought that that was a place that I would go. And then I fell in love with the campus. I love the coaching staff. I love the team. So it was like, it was such a, like a, that's like the first, I was 18 years old at the time. So it was like the first risk I've really taken in my life. And it turned out so well for me. And then I feel like since then, I stopped doing that. I
Mm,
have this problem of being complacent. I'm doing good, like good enough. And I'm like, that's good. That's good. That's good enough. Like, and I never like try to climb to like a higher, I never try to progress. And I feel like that's a problem that I've had for such a long time, that like when that opportunity came up and I got that call to go to Florida, and it just like I had that same feeling in my gut, like telling me like you should take this opportunity. And it was like I'm not gonna pass this up, because so many times I've passed up opportunities, and so many times that I've overthought things, and then they fell through. I'm like, I just got to do it. I'm just doing it.
Yeah. It was a chance for you to completely restart from ground zero and progress. Because when you're at the point where you're at now, I mean, I haven't been at Crunch in a while, but while I was there, you were the number one sales, the number one top trained revenue, the number
Yeah,
one everything. So like it's you're like, oh, I'm so complacent, but it's like, yeah, you're complacent because it's like very hard for you to be like you're making great money,
yeah,
you're doing well at your job, you're helping other people also do well at their job, and you're doing all of these things. And like I actually just had a conversation with a few people that were close to me about this. It's like I'm like, oh, I'm not really doing anything. They're like, you have a full-time job, you're podcasting, you're studying for a Series 7 exam, you go to the gym for an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, you're doing all these things that are like positive, but because you're just like, well, that's standard, of course I'm going to do that.
yeah. That's how it
You
feels.
don't think that you're like, yeah, I'm complacent. I'm like, dude, you're the number one trainer at Crunch. Like, you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that great, I'm complacent. Like, it's like, but it's hard though. Like, it's
Yeah,
hard mentally to get satisfied when like the greatness is your standard and it is your normal.
yeah.
And
That's
something
exactly.
that
Yeah,
I've really struggled with, and I'm pretty sure you also struggle with, is the only way to actually get better is to be okay with taking a break and kind of self-reflecting.
yeah,
And it's hard because it's like, well, now your struggle is, hey, I want you to not have all this stuff to try to achieve. That's your next battle, is to be like okay with taking a break and just having faith and like trusting that it's going to work out.
yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean like, cancel all your clients for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But it's like, if this is a place where you've gotten to where you feel like you've peaked, right? Like in
Yeah,
everything that you've done, it's like it may be a time to branch out or try to find something else to kind of fill that extra time, and kind of reset again.
yeah,
Like me with this, like I got to a point where I was like, okay, like I'm doing well in everything. What have I been ignoring? I've been ignoring my podcast. That's what I've been ignoring. And I need to get back into it because that's what truly fuels me. And that's what I like doing. I like talking to people. I like getting ideas out. I like talking about motivation. I like talking about people's lives. And I'm genuinely interested in like how situations and conversations worked out and how people got to where they're at. So it's like a huge thing for me. What's one thing that you take from like your philosophy outside of just being like super driven and super motivated? What's a piece of philosophy that you've used to kind of like even yourself out when you feel like the world's becoming too much?
Oh man, the number one is shout out to Coach Baldus too, by the way. He taught me this. He would say, control what you can control. I tend to want to take control of everything that
Mm,
and I try to do too much, and there's certain things that are just outside of your control. And I stress so much about them, and it does me nothing but harm. And it just stresses me out. It makes me depressed, miserable, everything. So like being able to say like to accept the fact that okay, this is outside of my control. I have to let it run its course. That's something that's really helped me for years since probably 2017, 18. That when he would always preach that to me, and I didn't know what it meant back then, and it used to always make me really mad when he would say it because I didn't understand it. But now, like it's like my philosophy is like I'm going to control what I can control, and I also like to tell that to my clients because when they come to a point and they're like, oh, I've lost, like they're like, oh, like I've lost 5 pounds in the past 2 months. Like why have I only lost 5 pounds? And I'm like, well, um, what have you been doing? Have you been logging? No. Have you been doing your extra cardio? No. Well, I have this, and I'm premenopausal, and my metabolism's slowing down. I'm like, yeah, those are all things you can't control. but you can control how much you eat or you log in your food. You can control if you're doing your cardio, you can control those things. And it's a great way to kind of bridge that gap that they have with like, as far as like where they want to be and where they're at. And they're like, okay, like I will control those things. And it usually works out pretty well.
Yeah. That's a big one that I've been really struggling with lately, right? And not struggling, I'm struggling with it because I know that that's the case, right? Like if you never struggle with, oh, I need to control what I can control, it's because you don't know that that's even a concept, right? But I've been struggling with it because like I'll email like someone from like my work about something, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, they're not emailing me back. Like, why are they not emailing me back? And I'm like, dude, just flip the tab and study for your exam. I know you know you need this information in order to move forward with whatever you're progressing with,
Yeah.
but just flip the tab. Study on your exam, and you'll get a chapter or two done, and then there's the email. And you finish 2 chapters rather than just sitting here being like, why am I not getting the information I need? Because what good is that going to do for your relationship with them or for you? You're going to get mad, and then your relationship with them is going to be when it's like, hey, hold on, what can I do here? What can I control here? And the same thing with like having clients and training clients. Another thing is it's control what you can control, but it's also perspective too. Like,
Absolutely.
I've only lost 5 pounds. It's like, okay, but you lost 2 inches in your waist. Your chest is a ½ inch bigger. Your muscle mass, your body fat percentage went down 2%, and your muscle mass is increased. A lot of people just focus on the weight,
Yeah.
but it's not always the weight. Like, I've mentioned this before. When I was like 227 pounds or 226 pounds, I was 27% body fat. Now I'm 244 and I'm 14% body fat. So like, it's not always the scale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
you weigh more, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your body fat is going up. So
Yeah.
I think perspective also plays a role in, controlling what you can control. And you can control your perspective. That's the number one
Absolutely.
thing you
Yeah.
can control.
Absolutely.
Has there ever been a specific time where like control what you can control is like played a role, and you've had to like go, okay, even though this is what I see, I can see it from this angle instead and work on these things in order to make it better?
The first time it's ever happened to me was when I was in college, and my coach used to always tell me that. And then I had a season-ending injury a week before our first game, and I was super depressed. I'm like, man, like I feel terrible. Like I was planning on, like I was the starter at the time. I get injured. I'm out for the season. Had surgery. Now I'm like kind of recovering from surgery, and I'm just feeling sorry for myself. Usually, like when I bring that philosophy out, is like, and there's moments when I start feeling sorry for myself. So I'm injured. I can't play. Like this sucks. Like I'm 800 miles away from home. I don't really have anybody here. And I was just feeling, I would always like make these excuses for myself. Like, it's okay if you go out and drink more often now because you're not playing. It's okay if you don't watch film as much. It's okay if you're not really paying attention at practice because you're not playing. And then I started to realize, like, I looked at it from a different perspective. I'm like, I can take these opportunities to, I was always a great player on the field, but I never really took watching film seriously, breaking down film. I never really took um, school seriously. I was just there because I was like, I have to do it to play football. So it gave me an opportunity to look at it from a perspective that I can hone in on these things that I've been lacking in because I can't play football right now. I literally can't. So I'm like, I can take these things that I can do, watching more film and being able to diagnose pre-snap. I can focus more on my classes, get my grades better. I can do all of these things. And I switched my perspective to say, okay, I'm going to start focusing on these things more. And then it was beautiful how it all worked out because then like I focused on recovery, I focus on film, I focus on school. That when I was ready to come back, I was even better than I was before I got hurt. Even though I've missed that so much time, I came back a better player, a better person, a better teammate. And it was like the first time that I really saw that. I've never even told him till this day that Coach Valdez, I should probably call that guy soon. But like that was the first time that, like, since he's told me that for over a year at that time, that I felt like, okay, this guy might have known what he was talking about.
Yeah.
He told me control what I could control. When I did, it made my life so much easier in the end.
Yeah. And like you watching film, right? You could have seen something in the defense that like someone may not have seen, like during the game when you're on the sideline, and you could have like called it out, saved the game. You know, I don't know if that happened to you or not, but like there's so many things that like blessings happen when preparation meets opportunity, right? And if we don't prepare, opportunities are going to pass. So if you're preparing and preparing, you know, you may have missed an opportunity. Not saying you did or you didn't, but just for the sake of like the concept,
Yeah.
there are opportunities that always come and go, always pass by. And if you're not prepared properly, you know, it's definitely going to leave people, you know, upset or depressed, like they missed that opportunity. Speaking of, you did say that you were like, you felt depressed when you got that season ending injury.
Yeah.
I personally, when I was playing football, I got my fifth diagnosed concussion playing football, and I couldn't play anymore. Well, they kind of talked to me. They were like, you can play, but your next one's going to be really bad if you get it. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, time to make a call here.
Yeah.
Done
Such a
playing
hard
football.
decision too for
Yeah.
like a, 15, 16, 17-year-old,
Yeah.
like, to make.
Well, I was in college. I was
Oh,
20.
so like,
Yeah.
so like, yeah, that's super hard decision to make. Like, how do I make that decision?
Right. And it was rough, but it was like I was at a point in my life where I was extremely unmotivated, to be honest with you. So like when I kind of was like, nah, you know, that's it for me. Even though like that unmotivation wasn't a positive thing, it may have actually ended up being a net positive thing, because if I was so like hard headed on playing and playing and playing, it could have led to brain injury, it could have led to like all that stuff. But I suffered with a lot of like post athletic depression because I identified myself so much with being a football player and so much with, you know, I'm the football player, I'm the starting left guard, like this is what I am, this is who I am. Education is second.
Absolutely.
I play football. I play football and I party with the football guys on the weekends. That's what I do. And I felt so, you know, I was still eating like a football player. That's how I got big. Like there were just things that I was doing that I wasn't properly taking care of myself. And it just kind of snowballed and spiraled down. I didn't have a coach that told me control the controllables. So I just completely went to the wind with that.
Yeah.
How was it for you? I mean, I know you said that like you focused on like the positive things, but from a motivational standpoint, how did you get yourself out of that depression trough?
Well, it hit really hard because, like you said, like from the time you're like 5 years old, 6 years old, you play football your whole life. It's like becomes your whole identity. Like it's the only thing that, like, your family knows you as that, your friends know you as that, everyone on campus knows you as that. So it's like I'm working up to this position because at this time I had redshirted my first year, and then I'm going into my redshirt freshman year, and I get to that position where I'm going to be a starter as a redshirt freshman, and it's so huge, and I'm so excited to tell my family, and I tell them, and everyone's so excited for me. I tell all my friends, like, everyone's so proud. And then a week before I get injured and I'm out and they tell me I'm out for the season, and I'm like, that's where it kind of hit me, where it was like, was all of that for nothing? Because I did all of that work to get to where I was, and then I saw no reward. And it kind of hit me. So then, like, another thing too is, like, when I had the surgery, they put me on painkillers. So like I'm on painkillers and I've never taken them ever in my life. So I'm like taking these Percocets or oxycodone, hydrocodone, whatever it may have been, and they just make me feel even more depressed when I take them. And it's not like I'm taking them. I'm taking them how they told me to take them, like one or two a day, whatever it have been. And every time I take them, it just makes me want to just lay in bed and not do anything.
Yeah.
And then that led to me not going to class or not wanting to go to practice or not wanting to go to meetings. And I fell down that path too. Like, I was very unmotivated. I was super depressed, didn't want to do anything. I thought it was over. It felt like it was over. And I was just blessed, man, to have like those coaches and those peers around me, like my teammates, that were like, they saw it happening. And even though I would have never have came to them, they came to me and they kind of picked me up. Like I was in that hole and they were the ones that kind of dove down that hole and picked me up out of that hole themselves. And I have lasting relationships with these people for the rest of my life because of that. Because if it wasn't for them, like I would have never been able to see that bright side. It was all dark to me. I thought it was over, even though I was only a redshirt freshman. In my eyes, it was like as you know, you've never sat on the sideline ever. Like you grow up, you're always you're always on the field. You're always one of the best players on the field. So like to be watching from the sideline, it was a whole different feeling I wasn't accustomed to, and it felt so. I didn't know how to manage those feelings, and luckily I had those people around me that were able to like identify it and say, "Hey, we need to lift Preston up because right now he is down." And they did, and I could never thank them enough for that. I would never be where I am today if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a football transition for you either. It was like a life transition.
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
that was like that like post-athletic depression. Like it's not just like a sports thing, dude. It's like a whole life thing because your whole identity starts to get torn to pieces, right? It's like, well, actually, you're no longer a football player. And then you're like, wait, where am I supposed to put this? What am I supposed to put in this huge gap? I now have so much extra time throughout the day. I now have, like, when I was on concussion protocol, like I couldn't sit and watch film. Like they wouldn't let me because I can't stare at a screen.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, you need to stay in a dark room and not go outside during the day.
Fueling the depression.
I'm like, that's awful. What are we talking about? Your season-ending injury, though, what was it specifically?
So I tore my labrum and my rotator cuff. But luckily I was able to. So I came back from that injury and I ended up playing the rest of my career. And off those values. But like you said, like the post, like athletic, it hit me so hard because a big thing for me was like back home, friends, family, people I grew up with. I was always, from the time we were playing Pop Warner, Preston's going to play in the NFL. Preston's going to be an NFL player. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. So I truly believe that in my heart. So like I pushed so hard to get to where I was that when I got to the doorstep of the NFL and it didn't pan out, I felt like a complete failure. On top of that, now I lose my whole identity because it's like for the past 16 years of my life, 17 years of my life, I've played this sport and I've revolved my entire life and my family's entire life around this sport. And now it's just gone. Like you said, it's like you're trying to find a purpose at that point. It's like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Like, what else can I do besides be a great football player? Am I good at anything else? And that's like what I battled with.
How'd you find that? Like, what was the process for you to re-find your purpose?
Oh my goodness, man. I had to get to rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like when I got out of school, and at the time I was living in Charlotte, and I'm living with a bunch of people that I went to college with, and we're just living like we're in college. Like we're working adult jobs, but like living like college students, like ramen noodles and going out 4 or 5 times a week. You know what I mean? So it's like I was doing that, and it was like I finally hit rock bottom, and it was like I remember like looking at myself, and like as cliche as it sounds, it was literally one of those moments where you like look in the mirror at yourself and like you start looking through yourself rather than just like you just like are checking out how you look or how you're appearing. I really like looked into my own soul, stared into my own eyes, and was like, what are you doing? Like it was like a different voice. It was like a voice from me when I was in a better place was talking to this person who was at rock bottom, and he's like, what are you doing? Why are you quitting? Why are you giving up? You've never given up in your life.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Why are you making these decisions? Why are you going out 5 times a week? How is this making you better? Right then and there, that's like I quit. Like at the time I was smoking, I quit smoking, I quit drinking, I quit everything that was unhealthy for me, and I just like completely changed my life like from that moment. And I was like, it literally was like something out of a movie. Like I sat there in the mirror for 30 minutes, like having a conversation with myself without even opening my mouth. And it was like, yeah, this is like, it's now. Like you have to do this now. And I was like, I got to find a purpose. And through that, that's when I started working out. And that led to like people wondering what I was doing to help get my body, my physique where I was, which led me to helping others. And I found out like, I think maybe helping others was always what I was supposed to do
Yeah.
because it fills my cup. And it was the first time since I stopped playing football that my cup was being filled.
Yeah.
It led me to that, like working out and getting myself into shape, and then people reaching out to me, and then me helping them, and then seeing like, okay, I can actually help people. I can like make an impact. And I was like, all right, I think this is like my new route, and it helped me fill that void that I had of like being an athlete and no longer being one. It was like that void got. I was like, I need to help others, and that was like how it got filled.
Did this point, like this moment in your life, is that what ultimately led you to self-coaching yourself into the bodybuilding competition?
Yeah, so like when it came to that, right? So like when I first got back into the gym, I trained like a college football player, which was like embarrassing because I was at Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
So I'm at Planet Fitness like doing hang cleans on
Smith
a
machine.
Smith machine and like, doing like box jumps and doing all kinds of like athletic workouts.
Yeah.
And people were probably looking at me like, what is wrong? And I'm doing like sprint intervals on the treadmill at like this max speed. And these people are like, what is this guy training for?
Yeah.
And I did that for a few weeks getting back in. And then I started to think like, why am I training like an athlete? I'm not an athlete anymore, but this is the only thing I know how to do. So like I tend to get like really hyper fixated on things. So I'm like, I need to like search up how to train to like just build muscle. So I searched up like building muscle, and the first thing was like hypertrophy training, and I researched it for hours and made this program. And I start following the program, and my younger brother starts coming to the gym with me. So now we're both doing it. And then probably like, you know, a month and a half into it, I'm just scrolling on Instagram and I get this like ad for NASM Elite Bundle, and I click on it and I'm like, all right, I click on it and I'm like seeing it. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of interested in this. So I ended up buying it. And that's when I was able to like really fully understand like the anatomy, the nutrition, everything that goes into it. And I started really truly following that. And I had only been training for about 10 months to 13 months before I was like, I got myself to a point where I was like, okay, I'm looking really good now. And people at my gym would always say like, hey, you should compete, you should compete, you should compete. And it was nothing I ever even thought about. And then like they're like, hey, there's a show in DC in 16 weeks, like you should do it. And I'm like, nah. I waited 10 weeks, so like 6 weeks out from the show, I'm like, all right, I'll do it. So I get into it, and then I'm like, all right, I gotta prep. I have no idea how to. I'm like quite literally watching YouTube videos of like the top male physique guys like doing their posing and like what are they eating, what are they following, what routines are they doing. And I'm like, I gotta get like my body. I got a month and a half to like get myself like in tip top shape for the show. And it was such a crazy experience to like be able to do it on my own and say like I literally did all the research, and I understand why people get trainers. The amount of like, yeah, I would spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours in the gym, but you didn't see the hours that I spent researching what foods to eat, what time should I eat, how should I eat, what workout should I do, how to pose. The amount of hours I spent posing in a mirror, recording it, and then going over it and looking at it next to like the professional guys and going, that's not good enough, and then going and doing it again, hours and hours and hours, because I didn't have somebody there telling me like giving me the points and I understand. And it was like I understand why people get a coach, because the amount of extra work I had to do was just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it paid off so well in the end. Like when it was like, okay, I can do that for myself. I truly feel like I can help other people now.
Yeah. And your like personal training journey started with just curiosity. You're like, oh, this NASM Elite personal training package. I'm gonna get that for me. I'm gonna invest. I mean, I assume it was around $1,000, probably a
Yeah,
little bit
it
more than
was.
that, right?
It was like on sale for 4th of July for 1,000. It was like $9.99.99.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I paid for mine, so that's just why I assume. But like, you went, I'm gonna invest $1,000 in me, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy this NASM program, get NASM certified as a personal trainer, get NASM certified as what were the other ones that they offered, like bodybuilding, nutrition, like in the full package.
Yeah, so I did. I actually chose to do corrective exercise and nutrition because corrective exercise wise, because I had the injury with my
Yeah,
shoulder, and it always would bother me when I would work out. And I'm like, what are some things I could do to like not have my shoulder hurt,
yeah.
but still be able to work out? So I did corrective exercise and nutrition on top of my CPT.
Mm.
But they had like bodybuilding, nutrition, like performance enhancement training, all kinds of things. But those are the two that I chose, those two specialties on top of my CPT just because it was super personal. Like I was not thinking about others at all.
Yeah. I mean, just like, why wouldn't you have picked the bodybuilding additional cert? I mean, if that's what you were going for, what kind of mindset did you have where you were like, I don't need that one though. I'm going to do nutrition. I mean, corrective exercise is clearly because of your injury, but why like nutrition and not the bodybuilding one?
So I picked nutrition because, like with the bodybuilding aspect, I did so much research on that alone.
Mm.
And like I was seeing so much progress in my ability to build muscle, but I knew where I lacked was like I had super basic knowledge of nutrition, like chicken and rice and broccoli, like that, like the basics. Like I didn't know how much protein I should eat. I didn't know like exactly when I should eat. I didn't know like the different types of amino acids. I didn't understand how the body breaks things down. Like none of that stuff made sense to me, but like lifting weights made sense to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing great progress in like gaining weight, gaining muscle with the workouts from what I've been searching. But I think it's a lot easier. What people don't realize is it's a lot easier to find good workout routines online. It's a lot harder to find really good nutritional advice online because it's so biased on like what worked for that person, and there's not really any science behind it. It's just like I did keto and I lost 100 pounds, so you should do keto. But like for bodybuilding, it's like, hey, if you do this routine and you progress yourself, you'll get gains, and it pretty much is that simple. But like with the nutrition aspect, to get myself in tip top shape like I needed to know the ins and the outs of nutrition. So I was like, nutrition has got to be like number one for me. If I don't dial in on my nutrition, I would never be to work. Like I'll never get to the point where I can compete on this stage.
Yeah. And another big thing with nutrition, especially in the online world, they they're like two different kinds of reels or TikToks or whatever, right? And it's like, this is a healthy snack. And it's like, yes, that is a nutrient dense, calorie, good fat packed snack. However, stop telling, yes, it's healthy in a certain sense,
Yeah.
but people can't have 10 of them because they're 600 calories a piece. So
Right. Right.
you need to disclose this is healthy. This is a nutrient dense snack that you can have with this many calories. This because when
Yeah.
people hear healthy, they're like, "Oh, this is healthy. Oh, this tastes good." Yeah, that's because there's dates, honey, and like natural
Yeah.
sugars or whatever in it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Exactly.
it's gonna taste good, but it's supposed to be used as a snack. It's not a low calorie or a calorie deficit friendly food, but it
Exactly.
is a healthy food. If you're trying to gain muscle, it's still a healthy food, but it's a great way to like clean bulk because it's healthy
Right.
sugars, healthy fats, all those things. And I think that the language used, people need to really pay attention to
Absolutely.
because, oh, this is a calorie deficit food. Okay, probably not going to taste great because it's like low calorie, high. And people are like, no, it tastes the same as a Reese's peanut butter cup. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Because if it did, why would I ever eat a Reese's peanut butter cup? It does not
Yeah.
taste. It tastes like it, but it doesn't taste the same. Don't
Yeah.
tell me it tastes the same.
Yeah. Don't lie.
I love Reese's peanut butter cups. If it tasted the same, trust me, I would know it tastes the same.
Yeah.
I would eat them all the time.
Yeah. I would have no problem eating this.
Yeah. But if you have a healthy alternative, it may taste very similar to it, but it's going to be more or the same amount of calories.
It's gonna be dry, and it's gonna be dry when you chew it. It's gonna taste like protein powder.
Correct. Yeah. That's another thing too, like getting your protein in. It's never been difficult for me to get my protein in. That's something that like people talk about that I cannot relate to at all.
Same.
They're like, oh, it's so hard for me. I'm like, I eat 400 grams of protein a day. I have no idea how you don't do it. You can
Yeah.
make a milkshake with the 40. Some people are like, I'm getting 50 to 60 grams in. I'm like, I have 60 grams in my protein shake that I have after I work out. And then I also eat chicken, steak, protein
Yeah.
bars. I don't know how you don't do it without just completely neglecting to do it in general.
Yeah, I agree.
That one's really hard for me to be like, no, I can see how you're not getting your protein in. Because I'm like, they have pre-made shakes, 30 grams of protein a piece. Drink 2 of those. Drink 2. That's it.
Yeah, like if you drink 2 of those, like, and it's mind blowing. People will be like, yeah, I'm getting 50 grams of protein a day. And like you said, like, that's literally a protein drink.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you not eating any protein at all for the day? Like, where are you getting this protein from? And then you get them the log and you find out like, it's like, oh, they had a bagel this morning. Oh, it had 8 grams of protein. Oh, it had 60 grams of carbs in it.
Yeah.
And 300 calories. And it's like, oh, that's where their protein's coming from.
Yeah. And like another thing is like a lot of food companies, they're like high in protein, 6 grams, 7 grams. I'm like, what are you people talking about?
Yep.
I'm like, why are you telling people that this is a high protein snack? It's not.
And it's because the FDA does not regulate that kind of stuff. So you can, as long as you have what is actually on there on the nutritional label, which is always on the back, by the way.
Yeah.
And then put on the front this colorful whatever, and then it says 10 grams of protein. And then you look on the back, and protein is actually the least macro-dense macro, like significantly less than the fat and the carbs. And it's almost crazy that they're allowed to post that.
Yes.
On the product and sell it in a store, because your clients will tell you, oh yeah, I ate really healthy yesterday. I had for breakfast I had a Jimmy Dean's sausage biscuit, and they're 8 grams of protein. I go, yeah, and they're 20 grams of fat.
Yeah.
Like what? Like saturated, like we're talking about like saturated fats. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. The nutrition really gets me because I have a very forward mindset and a very direct mindset.
Yeah.
So when they're like, no, I eat healthy, and then they hit me with something like that, I'm like, it's so hard for me to not go, no, you don't.
Yeah, you don't.
No, you don't. And that's not it. And like when I was a trainer, I had to be very like, okay, let's try these things instead. It's kind of like, you just want to suggest things.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, right? Because this person may have taken a huge leap of faith to come to you to
Right.
want to work with you, and you have to respect that. And they're new, maybe they don't know. So like approaching it with that, you have to approach them differently than you would approach your friends. Like if my friend said that to me, I'm like, dude, shut up, dude. No, put that away. Yeah. That's my main thing. Cause like when I was losing weight, that was something that I really researched, kind of like you with bodybuilding. I really researched nutrition, and I ignored some of the stuff to like I lost a lot of like my strength and everything, but it's cause I was so laser focused on something that it was very hard for me to like stray away from it. But now I'm very much into like getting the proper amount of protein and doing those healthy, like nutrient dense but healthy snacks, but just keeping it proportion control and stuff like that.
100%.
Now you're kind of like started talking about clients. Your mindset with clients is very attractive to a lot of various clientele. I see you when I was working at Crunch, I saw you working with 60, 70-year-old, moms, grandmas. But then I also saw you working with like 13-year-old kids, like getting them ready for football camp and baseball camp and stuff like that. And everyone in between.
Yeah.
Literally everyone in between. So that's a lot of different people that you have to cater to. When a new client comes to you, how do you determine what to focus on and what like mindset and lifestyle changes you have to make based on what you know about them with their age and the things that they have to do throughout the day?
The biggest thing is just listening. Right. So like I think a big thing is like not just listening, but like digging on like why are they truly there? Finding what their true goal is, and then being able to use the knowledge that I've attained over the years to say, okay, this is what their goal is, this is how I can get them there. And even though they may give me pushback, I've gotten a lot better with, you know, the baby steps, setting short-term goals for people rather than saying like, oh, I have somebody, she's a 60-year-old woman who comes in and she wants to lose, her doctor says she needs to lose 50 pounds. So she's urgently trying to lose weight, and being able to give her the realistic expectations of you're not going to lose 50 pounds in 3 months.
Yeah.
However, you will be able to play with your grandchildren, and you will be able to sit down, and you will be able to go on walks around the neighborhood pain free in these next month or two. And then we will start, when you're pain free, then we will work on really trying to burn as many calories as possible. And being able to, I think a big problem with trainers is you overpromise and you underdeliver. So like no matter how old someone is, they have goals. Like a 13-year-old, oh, I want to be a starter on the varsity team when I get to college or when I get to high school. Cool. So what are we doing to do that now? Nothing. Okay. So then starting from zero, rather than saying like, all right, like I don't want to promise him and say, I'm going to make you a starter. I'm going to give you the building blocks in order to put yourself in a position to be there. And I think like in anyone in between, you know, like everyone has different goals and everyone has things that motivate them. And I think like a lot of people think that it happens overnight, and you can attest to this, that it's like it's not how it works. So it's like a big thing that I'm on is like I'm very real with my clients, and that's not something I did in the beginning. I think that's something I was a disservice to my clients. Man, I was not real with them. I would just tell, like, if they're like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds and I want to lose 30 pounds in 3 months, and I'd be like, I basically would promise them they would lose 30 pounds and not have any plan on how they were going to do it. Now it's more so like I want to sit down with them, build a plan, and figure out how we're going to get there, like get to there, that's going to be sustainable. Because I don't want you to lose 30 pounds in 6 months, and then you're like, all right, I made it, I'm good, and then you come back in here again in a year and sit down with me, and now you got to lose 60 pounds because you gained an extra 30 on top of the 30 that you lost. So like having those kind of conversations with people, and understanding that some people may hear that and run away and be scared of it, that may not be someone that I personally wouldn't want to work with. You know, like maybe shouldn't work with you if I feel like you're not up for this challenge, because it's going to be a challenge every day. And if they're not up for that, maybe we aren't a good fit. But you'd be surprised how many times I've said that to people, and they're like, "Wait, I'm up for the challenge," and it changes their mindset.
Yeah, immediately. I mean, there were some times where I was like, look, like if you want a trainer that's like gonna kind of like walk you through a few things and like not like step by step like how you were, but I'll be like, hey, like if you think like this is gonna just like be like a fun time at the gym, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm not the trainer for you.
Right.
I do want to have fun. I'm gonna get to know you like 100%, 1,000%, but you are gonna cuss me out some days because I'm not gonna allow you to go, well, today, you know, I don't feel like it because, and I'm gonna go, okay, well then let's just not have our session then.
Yeah, go home.
Yeah. Like what? Yeah. Oh, I'm tired today. Okay, well, I don't want to be a disservice to anyone either because, you know, it's like $80 for an hour. So it's like, look,
You're paying a lot of money.
save the session, go home, come back, fuel up, rest up, whatever you got to do. I actually wouldn't tell them to go home. I'll go, okay, well, today you can just go on the treadmill for 40 minutes.
Today you're going to go on the treadmill for 45 minutes.
I won't charge you. You're just going to go on the treadmill for 45 minutes. Yeah.
I've done it.
But they would do the same thing. The moment that I would go, look, if you think this is like going to be something like fun and like entertaining, like, you know, I'm going to have a relationship with you, but that's not me. That's not who I am. So like, I can hook you up with another trainer if that's the kind of vibe that you want. And they would go, no. Where do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll work with you.
A big thing about that too is like, you know, when you don't get results, that means that I failed. I failed you as a coach. So that makes me feel bad. So like if you don't want to work and you're not gonna listen to me and you don't want to like do the things, it's only going to hurt both of us in the end. So I'd rather not help. But if you're willing to sacrifice these certain things in your life that may be bad habits, create some positive ones, and get to your results that you said that you've been wanting to do for the past 3 to 5 years, then let's do it. And
Yeah.
and and it's awesome to see somebody's mindset shift. And when they, because like I'm sure you've dealt with it too, when like you could be training someone for like the first couple months, and it's like they're going through the motions. Then all of a sudden it's like, and then you do a check in with them, and they lost 10 pounds after not losing any weight for 3 months. And then they lose 20, and then like they're at their goal, and you're like, what changed in you? And like they just, because I'm a firm believer that you can't make like humans, you can't make another human do something that they don't want to do at 100%. You know what I mean? Like I could make my client come to the gym and do cardio and work out on days they're not with me, but are they going to give 100%? Probably not. But if they want to do that, they will go do that, and they will get, like, if they truly want to get to this goal, they will do whatever it takes to get there. Whether you want to lose weight or gain weight, if you want to gain muscle, if you want to go run a marathon, if you want to become an athlete, like a professional athlete, if you're in high school and you aspire to go into college, when you truly make the, and I tell them this too, when you truly make the decision to yourself that you are going to go all in on this, then you will get there. Because I'm a firm believer, and I mean, you could probably agree. There's no time that I've given 100% at something and failed. I think it's impossible. I think it's impossible to say I'm giving 100% at this, and then you come up and you fail. Like, because if you failed, you didn't give 100%. I truly believe that.
Yeah. And some people think that they're giving 100%. And it's like, no, 100% is when my mom bakes me my favorite cake for my birthday, but I'm trying to lose weight. I go, I'm sorry, y'all are going to have to enjoy that. I'm not eating
I
that.
need it.
And
Yeah, that's a, yeah.
they're like, well, come on. Like your mom made this.
It's
I'm like,
one
no, no,
day.
no, no, you don't understand. No,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not eating that.
yeah. I'm
And I'm like,
100% locked in.
obviously to my mom, I'm like, Mom, I really hope you understand. I love you very much. It's my favorite cake. I literally am like shaking right now because I can't have it.
Salivating.
Like I have to leave the room. I can't even watch you guys eat it. It's my
Right.
favorite cake, but I can't right now. And that's 100%. Like even when someone you love it like puts in work for you, like if you had a family member like make you a meal when you came home to visit and you were on prep and you're like, sorry, I got my meal preps here.
Can't eat it.
I can't eat it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like that level of intensity and that level of commitment. It's not, I give a lot of people their 100% is people who give 100% 80-20.
Yeah.
80-20 is fine, but you have to know that that's not 100%. That's 80-20.
It's not 100. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I eat clean 6 days a week or 5 days a week. That's great. You're probably going to maintain your weight. You train 5 days a week. That's perfect. That's good for you. But on the weekends, if you drink and you eat pizza and you do all these things, especially when you're on that track to complete a goal, it's just, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. Right.
Yeah. You're kind of,
But it's so hard to make that happen unless you're going, if you're going like 120% during the week and then 80% on the weekend, I mean, it makes up for it, right?
right.
But if,
How many people are doing that?
right, like when I was losing weight, I was doing like 10 miles a day plus 2.5 hours in the gym, plus eating chicken, half a bag of rice, and broccoli for 3 meals a day. So yeah, I had pizza on Saturday. But like, it was the calorie deficit during the week was so immense.
So significant that calorie surplus on the weekend didn't close the gap.
I was still in a deficit. I just had pizza. Like it wasn't even, it
So you
wasn't
have
even a surplus.
a one or two slices of pizza, not like an entire pizza.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, but
Yeah. It'd be like that.
yeah. I think that it's so hard, like to have a mindset of you really have to shift your perspective when your mindset is like 100%.
Yeah.
Because you think everyone else thinks like this until you like get hit with reality slowly and you're like, no one thinks like this at all.
Right.
and you have to like kind of really, like, I had this one client, right? She was, I'm not going to say her name, but she was overweight, and I would be doing everything I could to like help her lose weight. And there would be like crying sessions together. Like you turn into a therapist almost, really. Yeah. And she like was doing well with everything, and she could only see me like not too often, but kind of, because of like the way her work schedule was. And then she would go, yeah, I got some bad news this weekend, and I ate a whole pack of Oreos. And I'm like I felt for her, because part of me was like,
you had empathy.
it was like, how?
Yeah.
Like how and why does our brain sometimes get wired like that? Because we all start as a blank slate, right? To an extent, aside from like some genetic things. But how does our brain get wired like that, where
I got upset.
Yeah, and even though we have this goal in mind, we could just so easily deter from it. Like what's the excuse? What's the I'm like at a loss for words, because it's just like it's so different from how I've operated, especially when I've set my mind to something. And dude, mind you, I was spending $10 a month at Planet Fitness. These people are spending hundreds of dollars a month, and like
$1,000.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess we're on like a different side of it, but like for me, like if I were to go to you and go, hey Preston, $1,000 a month to train me, everything that comes out of your mouth when it comes to like if I'm competing for a bodybuilding competition, I'm listening to. Joe, I want you to do 12 reps. Well, Preston, I can only do 10. That sucks. You're doing 12. Like, you have to do 12 reps here. I can't take 10 for an answer. And like, and even for myself, if I'm like, dude, if you do 10, like, you suck.
You failed.
Like you better do 12.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just, what do you think? Do you think like tragic events foster those kinds of mindsets? Do you like what do you feel like differentiates people who have the one mindset that we're talking about, where it's like focus, 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 and the other mindset where it's like it's not focused, because they're still like putting money into it and putting some kind of effort into it, but like there's like a barrier there. Where do you think that barrier gets broken?
So I think that there's a huge difference between extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. So like a lot of times the people like you or me, we had intrinsic motivation, that it was we made that decision with ourselves. None of my friends were telling me like, you're skinny, you need to get back in the gym, you need to get back in shape. Like your friends saw you overweight. They were never like, Joe, you're overweight, man. You need to get in the gym. Like they never judged you. They loved you just the same, but it was something in your soul, in your own being that said, I need to do this. I think when people have that extrinsic motivation, that's enough to get them to walk into the door at the gym.
Yeah.
But it's not enough for them to really put in that work to get to that goal. And it fades out really quick. I think when they feel it inside, like it's them, intrinsic, they feel it in their bones. I have to do this. I think it motivates them on a whole nother level. And not to say that either one of those can go either way. Like I've met people that went to the gym because my wife said that, I was getting fat. So his motivation was extrinsic. Like he didn't want to come to the gym. He only came there because his wife said she didn't like how he looked.
Yeah.
But 3-4 months into it, now it's like a personal thing for him. He's like, I want to do this. I want to look like this. This is my goal. So like, it's not to be said that they can't change, but it's like, I think what a lot of people, and it's like very surface level, that like when people get into the gym and they're like, it's a good thing to bring up in a conversation when your friends and family know that you're overweight, even though they may not talk about it. They know that you're out of shape. They don't really talk about it. But how good does it feel to sit there in a conversation and be like, I joined the gym, I got a trainer, I'm working on losing weight.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, good for you. That's really awesome. And then it's like, yeah, like that feels good. But like, does it feel good enough for you to really take it serious? Not always. Or when they go out on the weekend and they have some drinks and eat pizza. Well, I go to the gym 3 times a week and I train. I can do this stuff. I think some people use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
Or to kind of, make themselves. And I've had real conversations with clients. They've said things like that when they're like, it just feels good to tell my family that I have a trainer, even if I don't get results.
Almost like a, I don't want to say a clout thing, but
A
it's
validation.
yeah, it's like a validation. It's like you ever like, it's kind of like you have an avatar and it's like, oh yeah, I have this kind of dog, and then I have a personal trainer as well, and then I have I have my own personal nail tech, and then
They're flexing.
I have my barber, and then this is my trainer, Preston, know, and then it's like, it's kind of like, well, yeah, my trainer says,
Yeah, it's a flex. It's a flex, 100%.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what were you saying before I cut you off?
No, I mean, it's basically the same thing. Like, it's a flex, man. Like, it's like pulling up in a new car. It's like showing up with a new pair of shoes. It's like something you can bring up in a conversation, like, that makes you feel, I don't know, I can't think of the word that I'm searching for, but it's like, it makes you feel like you are maybe not better than the people that are around you,
but it adds value to you.
It adds value to you. So you're like, well, my trainer said this, or my trainer said I was allowed to eat this piece of cake because I worked hard this week. Or like, just to bring it up in conversations, if people are like, okay, like, at least he's going to a trainer. Oh, he has a trainer. That's what they want them to know, even though they may not be fully like into it.
Yeah,
that just like feels good for them. It's like a flex.
It's like, and it's almost like they're still feeding that instant gratification, but in another way.
Yeah.
Because they're getting that instant, oh, I have a trainer. Oh, good for you. Like, it's right away, but it's like, hold on, dog. You've been to the gym for an hour total the past week. Like, relax. Like, you haven't even hit anything. Like, I was so locked in that I didn't even really notice that I was even losing weight, bro. Like I weighed myself in, but I was like, oh, is this even working? And two things like really helped me. One, there was a guy at the gym who was like one of those like old head lifters.
Right.
Like, you could probably tell he had stories of like, yeah, I benched with all the wrestling guys back in the day, or I once spotted Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you're like, that's sick. He was like he gave me like that vibe. You know what I mean? And I was in the gym one day, and he was like, my one friend that was there, we were all talking, and he was like, yeah, Joe's like really losing some weight. And like the old head was like, yeah, his stomach is now lower than his chest. Like, it's like his chest sticks out further than his stomach. And I looked down, dude, and I was like, shit, he's right. It does. Like, I never even thought about like that being an indicator that I am losing weight.
Right.
Like, he's like, dude, like your stomach's in and your chest is out. Like, that's a lot different than where you were, for sure. And then another one was that summer I was at a pool with my nephew, and like I took my shirt off and I went in the pool, and he was like, Uncle Joe? And I was like, yeah. He was like, dude, what happened? Like, you look good. And I was like, thanks. Like, that was a big moment for me too, because like he used to be big. And like, ever since I lost weight, he lost 50 pounds. So like, now he's also losing weight too, which is sick.
Yeah. You were an example. You set that example.
Yeah. And that was actually one of my whys too. Like, he was getting big. Everyone around me was like kind of unhealthy.
Yeah.
And like, I had to, like, I could either be like, well, look at my example. Look at my examples. Or I could be like, you can be the example. So
you could be the example. Yeah, 100%.
So
I love that.
That was huge for me. But it ties right back in. Like, that was all intrinsic. Like, I wasn't looking for anyone to say anything. Like, when they did, it felt good. I'm not going to say it didn't. I'm not going to say it didn't feel good. But I wasn't searching for that.
Yeah.
Like,
it just fueled the intrinsic even more.
Yeah. Like, when my nephew goes, wow, you look good. I'm like, oh, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing.
I'm going to go
now that you're noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you're noticing, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. And if you have any questions, you let me know.
Yeah.
Because like, now I thought I had a reason before. Now I really have a reason to do it.
Now I have more of a reason. That's awesome.
Yeah. Kind of like rolling it back into like clients and like people who, you know, we were talking about like how people like sometimes like don't quite follow what we have for them or aren't quite like motivated.
Yeah.
But is there like one client specifically, and I you know, I understand you probably may not want to like mention their name, or if you do, if you feel like they'll be comfortable with it, but like one client that like had a success story that really sticks with you and like kind of re-solidified what you talked about earlier with like, I'm meant to help people and this is why, this is the person that's that example.
Yeah, so I have a few, but one that really sticks out to me is one that I think that like before I get into this, like I think the true tell if someone is a great trainer is that if you can not only help your client but you teach them. So like in the shorter period of time they can spend with you, if you can teach them as much as they possibly can to go on their own. So when I think of that, like I have a bunch of clients that I've been with for a very long time and I've helped and they've had great results. But one of my clients, his name is Chris. I signed him up when around the time we first opened up the gym. You know, he was very reluctant. Like, had to do a follow up with him, like 2 follow ups. Then he finally, and I like give him like a discount because he's like very like really very 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 standoffish about it. And like I remember his goals are like, oh, like man, I just want to lose like 15, 20 pounds. Mind you, this guy needed to lose closer to 100. So I remember I sat down with him and I told him, I'm like, hey man, like I know your goal is to lose 10 or 15 pounds, but you weigh 360 pounds right now. You need to lose about 140 pounds. He's about 5'10". He's 360. Like, you need to lose about 140 pounds. And that's a start. And he's like, huh? How? I can't do that. Who loses 140 pounds? And I'm like, trust me, man. Like, this is what you have to do. So we spent 6 months together. In the first month, all we did was just breathing techniques because when he would move, his heart rate would skyrocket and it wouldn't come back down. So we just did cardiovascular work for probably a month straight, 3 times a week, until he was able to keep his heart rate down low enough to actually start working out. And I remember like along the way, he's like, "You told me I got to lose 140 pounds." He would say it all the time. Lose 100. You told me I got to lose 140 pounds. I've lost 10. There's no way I'm going to lose 140. There's no way. So like, long story short, now I'm no longer training him, but I'm walking into the gym the other day, and he's coming out in the parking lot. And I see him in there all the time. I chat with him. He pulls out his phone, and he shows me a picture of, like, he has the app from, like, the scale at home. And he's at 215. He turns and shows me, and he goes, look. And I was like, that was this morning? He goes, yeah. And I go, told you could lose 140 pounds. And he just, like, he was so thankful and so, like, it was so, even though he is no longer my client, he hasn't been my client for over 6 months. But to be able to see him get to that goal and like, he's like, oh, and like, I went and got my blood work done. Like, we sat there and talked for about 30, 45 minutes. He's like, I got my blood work done. My cholesterol went down. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. He has a young daughter who's 14, and he's like, I'm no longer pre-diabetic. My blood was really thick, and I was on blood thinners. I'm not on blood thinners anymore. I'm not on blood pressure medication anymore. And I'm like sitting there just thinking in my head, like, wow. And he just said, like, I've just been doing the things that you taught me in those 6 months. I never stopped doing them. I just kept doing them. Yeah, I couldn't afford to keep training with you because it's expensive, but I never stopped doing what you told me to do. I kept doing it and it worked. And I want to thank you. And like, it was one of the most rewarding feelings to me that it's like, this guy who came in pre-diabetic on blood pressure medication, on the verge of having a stroke. His blood was this thick. It looked like motor oils, what his doctor told him. So like, he was on the verge of death in his early 60s. Couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without feeling like he was going to pass out. To now losing about 150 pounds and being in the best shape that he said he's in the best shape that he's been since he was in his late 20s. And it's like, seeing that is like, that's why I do it. Like, even though I only impacted this man's life for 6 months, I changed his life forever. And like, there's no better feeling than that. And then like, he's like, oh man, I got my wife coming to the gym now. We come to the gym together. She's down 30 pounds. like she's on the journey now too. Like I can, so like not only did I help him, now he's helping others in his life. And it's like a never ending, like, oh my goodness, man. Like I was like on the verge of like, it made me choke up when he was talking to me in the parking lot. And like he gave me this big hug. And he's not like the kind of guy that would like, give you a hug either. You know what I mean?
No.
He's like one of those like rough, like he's rough around the edges. Like he's not a hugger. Like he just gives me this huge hug and he's like, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my client stories is like, man, even though like I felt like I only saw him for such a little time, I was able to help him so much in the long run that it's like there's no better feeling than that.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I know Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't not gonna say nor do I know his last name, but I know Chris, dude.
Yeah.
And first off, I go to his barbershop now because he suggested the barbershop for me
Yeah.
to go to. And I go there now. Two, it took about 4 to 5 interactions for Chris to say anything other than "What's up?"
Very, very like.
Very closed off.
Mhm.
Very closed off.
Yeah.
But that's the payoff for like us as for them truly, but like for us as trainers, like, well, I say us as trainers, I'm no longer a trainer anymore, but when I was,
You still got it.
I've thought about it, but that's truly it. And like sometimes you don't really see your impact until the end or until it happens, like until it's like in your face, like, hey, by the way, like I've done what you told me to do and then some. Like I had a client that when I first got her, she couldn't even do an assisted lunge.
Yeah.
And by the time that I left her, she was deadlifting 185.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And she was like a 46, 45-year-old mom,
Yeah.
which is like, and like she lifted it up and puts it down. And I'm like, it was like one of our last sessions. And I was like, remember when you couldn't even like bend over or like
Yeah.
do a lunge? And she was like, yeah. Oh my gosh. I was like, yeah. I was like, now you can deadlift 185.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick up, a normal sized person
Yeah.
essentially. And before you couldn't even pick up yourself.
Yeah.
And like truly, I didn't even realize it until I like saw her doing it. And I was like, wow. And this lady couldn't even lunge or squat or do anything assisted. Not even. So
It's a crazy feeling, man.
it is. It is. And like, do you ever find it like hard for you to see your impact until it's in your face like that?
Oh yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
And like I feel like,
You want to
you
work
know,
out for them.
I'm like, what can I do to help them more? And then it's like small thing, like something like that will happen, and you're like, wait, I've done so much more. Even if it's not even physical, like how I've changed their mentality.
Yeah.
It is like, like that's a win. Like I noticed that more so than I noticed like it's something as small as like in the beginning I'm like hey like come 10, 15 minutes early to do like a warm up before our workout so we can just get right into it. How many times do people actually show up early and warm up?
Oh, dude.
Never.
Bear.
Never.
Sometimes they're walking in 2 minutes into our session. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? They're
What are
like,
we doing? What are we
sorry,
doing?
I'm late. Sorry, I'm late. Sorry, I'm late. Like, and I'm like, all right,
With
our sessions are now at 6:55, not 7 o'clock.
yeah.
If you're gonna be late every day.
Yeah, they're late every day, and then like it's so crazy to see like somebody like they go from being that 5 minutes late every day to like now they're showing up 10, 15 minutes early. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing them on the Stairmaster like before our session, and I'm like looking up as I'm on the floor, like,
Am
oh
I late? Did I double book?
yeah, I'm like, wait, what time is it? And then like I'll be like, no, I saw you were here 15 minutes early today. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start getting here earlier. And I'm like, I've been telling you to do that for a year, and you're just now doing it. But like, there was nothing I could have said or done
Yeah.
that made them want to do that. So it's like I see their mentality changing. I see how like now they're like, okay, now I'm like, and that gets me excited because now I'm like, okay, now you're about to really see some results. And I think like that is a great like I see my work from like that more so like
It could be somebody who hasn't lost a single pound in a year, but then now they start doing stuff like that, and I see like it like ignites something in me again. Because sometimes I'm not gonna lie, like I may give up on people. Like if I feel like they just don't have it in them to push themselves, I'll be like, I don't think I can help them. But then they'll do something like that, like start showing up early or staying after a session to do extra cardio, and I'm like, all right, you're getting
Yeah.
me back, you're getting me fired up again.
Yeah.
No, that's like one of the things I really notice with people is like their mentality changing and like their habits changing.
It's so weird. It was so weird for me too. And I don't know if it was the same for you. Like those people that I really, really tried to help were like the ones who I almost couldn't. And I feel like it was because I knew deep down that I couldn't, or it was going to be hard to help them, that I put so much energy into it. And those who were so low maintenance, and it just, if I said it, they did it.
Yeah.
Those were the ones that like would be like, hey, Joe, by the way, my arms have grown like 2 inches bigger, and my friends and family have noticed it. I feel like, I mean, I've lost a ton of weight. I feel better. I feel like I can play with my kids. So thank you. And I'm like, I mean, I put in the same kind of care in every program, but like I wasn't like at home going like, what's going on with Rod? Like
Right.
why can't I get through to Rod? Like I wasn't that extra
Yeah.
that extra level of like, what do I need to do for this person? But
Yeah.
truly, they were the ones in the end that I would have a lot of impact on, because they would just listen. And like, it just goes to show, like, they would just listen to what I said. And they were like, dude, like, my whole life's different now. Like, my wife likes me more, right?
Right.
However you want to interpret that. He's like,
Yeah.
my wife's like all over me now. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, well, good for you, dude. But like, I'm also proud of myself for like, teaching you what you needed to help y'all out. And then some people, I would just be like all the time on them and they were like, oh, I messed up. Like I had pizza and I had smash burger this weekend. And I'm like, it's so hard for me to be like, that's not a mess up. That's a decision.
Yeah.
A mess up is I thought avocados were healthy, so I was having 2 or 3 a day.
That's a mess up.
That's a mess up. 3 avocados, it's what, 1,000 calories extra? Yeah. Like that's a mess up. Smash burger ain't healthy for you.
Yeah.
Like that's not a mess up.
Yeah.
A mess up is, oh, I thought cooking with olive oil was better than butter. Yes, but you can't have a ton of olive oil.
It's also high in calories.
Yeah. That's a mess up. That's a lack of understanding. Don't tell me you think McDonald's is healthy.
Yeah, because you took the bun off we took one of the buns off your Big Mac, so it made it healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've heard that. I've heard people say crazy things like that, and just like you said, it's like,
I got the ice cream because I didn't have the bun on my burger. Really?
yeah. So I didn't eat the fries, so I ordered a milkshake. Okay, like that makes sense. So the fries were probably only about 300 calories. The milkshake was 1,300.
Yeah.
So all right, that makes.
I decided to treat myself, dude. Was the
Yeah.
line that I just had to act like, okay, but like, oh, I treated myself. I had Gushers and 2 bags of M&Ms yesterday. I'm like, okay. I mean, what? I mean, like, I don't even know how to respond to that. It's like I said earlier, if I'm investing so much money in training, I am not eating M&Ms and Gushers. Like, I doesn't compute.
You know what really helped me is like when I tell clients now is like, I want you to log on one of these weekends on their bad days.
Yeah.
Log on it. And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to be mad at you. I just want you to see. I think people don't like the awareness when it comes to calorie intake is so like off. You see like, oh, the daily averages people are supposed to eat 2,000, or some will say 2,500. And then like, they're like, they don't look at the nutrition label of what they're eating or what they do. They look at the serving size. So it'll be like, oh, it's 200 calories, but there's 8 servings in this and you ate the whole thing.
Yes.
That's you just went over your daily almost in one snack. And people don't realize that. And I think that like, so what I'll do is like, I'll say, hey, because they'll never log it. So while they show up 5 minutes late to their session and I have them warming up, I'll go, here. So talk to me about what you ate this week, and I'll log it on my MyFitnessPal, so you don't even have to see it. I just want to kind of get a glance at it. Oh, I had for breakfast we had First Watch. Tay, what'd you have at First Watch? No, I had pancakes and bacon, and I had a mimosa, and I had potatoes and eggs. Cool. I log all of it. What about for lunch? Oh, we had pizza. How many pieces did you have? 3. And I had a soda. Cool. Log it. Did you eat anything between then? Oh, well, like I snacked on this. Cool. I'll log it for him. What'd you have for dinner? Well, I ate like a piece of leftover pizza, but then we ended up eating some pasta. Okay. About how much would you say it was? Like if I had to show you like a plate, cover like the whole plate. Cool. So I'll log it. And I'm like, well, yesterday you ate 5,000 calories.
I was gonna say I'm already estimating between lunch, between breakfast and lunch, it's like 2,800 calories. Yeah.
So yesterday you had 5,000 calories and you did no physical activity, so you burned 0.
Yeah.
And they're like,
And
there's no way it's that much.
Your BMR is like 1,800, right?
You know what I mean?
So you gained a whole pound of fat yesterday. I want you to know that.
Yeah. And I'll explain that to them, and I'm like, yes. They're like, well, I have to eat healthy every day. Well, yeah.
Or portion control if you want to eat unhealthy.
And that's what I said. I set these calorie goals for you. So your BMR is 1,800. You exercise 3 to 5 times a week. You burn around 300 calories in your exercise. If you could eat like 1,800 is your max that I want you to eat on a day. If you can be in a slight deficit from that, if you could get to 1,500, beautiful. You'll lose weight even faster. But just eat less than 1,800 for me. I don't care what you could eat Twinkies, you could eat Doritos, you could eat Oreos. If you stay under that 1,800, you will lose weight. And I think that they can't grasp that until I show them. But they're like, well, how do I eat? I'm like, yeah, because if you want to stay in that, you can't eat a whole thing of Oreos. You eat the portion size, which is 2. You know what I mean? Like, you don't eat a whole sleeve of Oreos. You don't eat a whole thing of Pringles. Like, you eat the portion size.
The problem is that they're eating 2 while they're on their way to go eat the Oreos. They're like, oh, while I walk to the couch, I'm going to have my first 2. And then when I sit down, I'm going to have the rest of them.
Yeah, I eat like 3. Yeah. 1,000 calories of Oreos right there down the hatch.
And what you were talking about earlier was serving size and portion control. I was getting my hair cut back in Pennsylvania before I moved here.
Yeah.
And the barbershop I was at, I'm sitting there and I'm like losing weight. And I'm like thinking about potentially being a personal trainer, right? Like I'm like, it's kind of like a toss up, before I moved down here to Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm getting my hair cut, and my one guy that's cut my hair, he's like, yeah, like I just splurged on crumble cookie. I got to get back in it. I got to get back into lifting, but like, crumble cookie's not great. The one dude was not in shape at all. Really. He goes, bro, crumble cookie ain't bad for you. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, let me be curious. Let me be curious. And I'm like, why do you say that? He goes, bro, them cookies are only like 200 calories a piece. 220 calories a piece. And I'm like, bro, I was like, I'll pull out all my money out my bank account right now. There's no way that any of those cookies there at all whatsoever are 220 calories. Like, I'm so certain. And he's like, whoa, I'll pull it up right now. Look, 220. And I said, bring it over here. Oh, 220 for a quarter of the cookie, bro. That's 180 calories a pop. He goes, well, I've been fucking up then. I'm like, yeah, dude, you've been messing up. Like, what? Yeah, you got to pay attention to those things. I think
the serving size and like how companies will hide that.
Yeah.
Try to, like, they'll make it look as good as possible. Like, they could have very well put how much serving size for one cookie was on there.
Yeah.
But it looks a lot better when you put half of, because like how many people really, I mean,
Bro,
he didn't look like it was a quarter.
A quarter of it.
He thought it was a whole cookie.
Yeah.
He's probably eating 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. He's like, bro, I got so many calories left. I can keep eating these cookies.
He's eating 3,000, 4,000 calories in cookies.
Yeah.
Plus, like, he's eating 8,000 calories in a day. And then he's like, oh, well, like, it wasn't from the cookies. They're only 220.
Yeah. Also, like, if you ever looked at a label and we know that carbohydrates are 4 calories, fats are 9, and protein's 4. But you
Yep.
ever look at the back of a box and it's like there's 3 carbs in here, 10 calories, and you're like, sure, but it's actually 12. So why can't y'all put 12? Because
And you know why they do it.
there's a margin of error. I mean, rounding it looks better, but there's also like a margin of error that they're given, that they're allowed to have.
They'll put dietary fibers on there, and they'll say it's dietary fiber, and they'll say that, yeah, well, it's only net this many carbs.
Yeah.
Like, this has 20 grams of carbs in it, but it's only net 4 because there's dietary fiber in it.
So I got a question about that. I mean, I thought dietary fiber isn't absolved in your system. So it's like you don't absorb dietary fiber, no?
It's all a scam from like these.
Really?
So when these companies put that, like, not that it's a scam, right? So fiber definitely does help.
Okay.
When it comes to carbs, right? There's no doubt about that. That's scientifically proven. But there's no telling. These companies don't have to prove. Like, if you look at the ingredients, you're like, okay, let me go. What ingredient on there added fiber to this?
Okay.
Nothing. They'll say, oh, we added dietary fibers, and then it's some crazy lab-made chemical that they added into this ingredient list that you can't even pronounce. But it doesn't have, like, and they're saying, like, that's where and it'll have in parentheses next to it fiber, and like, you're like, well, what?
So you're just eating like fibers. It's not like any kind of like real naturally occurring dietary fiber.
Yeah, if you really read like if you read through the ingredients, and like,
So it's just a filler.
like like nothing on here is dietary fiber, and then like it'll have some like something crazy chemical compound that they made in the lab, and they added into this. They injected or added or however they added it into this product in order to be able to say
There's dietary fiber.
in here. So it's the net carbs are only 3, even though there's actually 20 grams of carbs in here. They do it a lot in those tortillas.
Oh, like the carb balanced tortillas.
The low carb tortillas. Next time you get one, look at the back of there.
I got them in the fridge right now.
Bro, look at the nutritional label and look at the ingredients in there. Tell me where the fiber is coming from.
Huh.
And the crazy thing is the FDA doesn't regulate those kind of things. So they're allowed to do that. It's not illegal. Like, they can post that as long as they have a nutritional label on the back. They can post that on there, and it's not illegal for them to like bamboozle or kind of like.
So it's not illegal for them to put like low calorie option, but the actual calories are high.
No, because technically, if they could put the serving size as 1/8, right?
Yeah.
But it could be like let's say it's like it could be like a little cake, like a cupcake. They can say the serving size is 1/8. So this cupcake is 1/8 serving.
And then on the front, only 5 calories per serving. They'll say per serving, but it's like only 5 calories. Yeah.
And there's nothing that regulates them from doing that. It's actually like 100% legal for them to do that. And they do it because it's smart. Because like if they put how much it really was, people wouldn't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. No one's going to buy it. My big thing with that specifically, and also just like overall, is like the Nature Valley stuff. Like the Nature Valley stuff, just because it's a green box and it says nature on it, it does not mean that it is healthy for you by any means.
Give me one. I have a box of it in my watch list.
Yeah.
All right. So you look at this, it's like Nature Valley, right?
Yeah.
You look at the nutritional label and it's like, all right, cool, 160. But like these are in the protein section.
Yeah.
When you like are looking for like, they consider them protein bars. There's 3 grams of protein in these bars. Like, these are considered protein bars. Like, when you look up protein bars, these are there. When you're shopping there, they're sitting next to protein bars. 3 grams of protein. But there's 21 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
And 8 grams of fat.
And are some of those ingredients also hard to pronounce under there?
So then I'm looking at the ingredients, right? And it's like, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this, in maltodextrin, tocopherols. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, but the ones I do see that I recognize, fructose, like sucrose, like I'm seeing like, okay, so this may not be great, but me being a trainer and knowing that it's not good,
Still in.
I still eat these because like, you know, I personally eat them before I work out because I want a little carb before I work out. But
You have a purpose.
I would never recommend these to my client ever.
Yeah.
One, and they taste like candy. Like they don't taste like something that like I could eat 4 of these.
Yeah.
They're 160 calories. If I eat 2 or 3 of these, we're up at 500 calories. You know what I mean? So like this is one of those things. It's like, yes, I do it personally, but I would never recommend it.
Yeah, because you use it as fuel. You have a utility for it.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna burn 400 to 500 calories this workout. So if I put 200 calories in my system and it's mostly carbs, or 300 calories in my system and it's mostly carbs,
They're gone.
I'll be fine. That's what I'm utilizing to fuel this workout and to build muscle.
Yeah.
But you have a specific set and a specific mindset of controlling, what you can control, and controlling your eating habits, your working out habits, and all those different habits that foster a positive physique, positive nutrition, a healthy lifestyle in general.
Yeah.
So you can use those things. Like, since I've lost the weight, I've had ice cream. I've had, there's Kind bars. They're 180 calories, by the way. You get them at Whole Foods, and they're like Snickers ice cream Kind bars.
Yeah.
Not the best for you, but I've had them, and they're really good.
Yeah, it's great. If it tastes good, it's probably bad for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if it tastes too good to be true, it probably is.
Too good to be true.
Yeah. Like, I had the Bobo's peanut butter and jellies. You remember those?
The one that called you out on it.
Yeah.
You were like, I was like, what are those? You were like, oh, they're like healthy. And I go, no, they're not. Look how much sugar's in them. And then you were like, I'm never eating these again.
You're like,
they're worse than Uncrustables.
Yeah, you were like, dude, these taste too good. There's no way these are good for you. I remember that. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
you look on the back and there's like 20 grams of included sugar and like added sugars. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man. Like, and then you look at, and then Uncrustables are like 18. And I was like, are these worse than Uncrustables? But they label them as like healthy.
Yeah. And it's because like, they're like, oh, they're oats and peanut butter. So like they kind of give that, but it's like, yeah, but y'all are dumping sugar in it. So like,
make it taste good.
Yeah. Oh man, it's insane. If you had, I know we've been on here for a little bit. So if you had like one piece of advice to give to anyone who is in a transition period in their life, or anyone who is thinking about starting a healthy lifestyle, what would it be?
Do your own research, your own unbiased research. And I think when I say that, I mean like take everything with a grain of salt. There's so much information out there that it's like there's nobody stopping anybody from posting information. So like you may just happen, like you could search up something on Google and you just click on the first thing you read. That doesn't mean that that's law. That's not gold. Keep going. Like I think people do such surface level research that it's confirmation bias most of the time, that they believe that something is this, and then they search it up on Google and they click on the first thing they see that sounds similar to what they believe already. And then it just continue, like challenge yourself. You know what I mean? Like I think when I was on my journey, to so many things that I thought were like this is how you do it, this is how it's done, and then had to find out through like extensive research that and when I say extensive, I mean like an hour, not like a 2-minute, like click on a link and read a few sentences and go, oh, yep, I was right. Because there was a lot of those. And then I would scroll down a little bit and I'm reading a case study and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is something different.
Or even the headline, you think you're right by the headline and then you read the whole thing and you're like, wait, if I would have just read the headline.
Yeah. Then I read it and I'm like, oh, they said in the text, they contradict what they said in the headline. So then it leads me to search more. And then I'm like, wait, now I'm reading a peer-reviewed case study by a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
by a dietitian, by somebody who is a professional in this field. They probably know what they're talking about other than, Randy, who made this post from on Reddit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and like I think people do themselves a disservice by they want to see something that they're comfortable with and just confirms what they already think. Like challenge what you know and continue searching something and researching and finding that, it may not be what you think it is. And that's not just with like trend. I think that's with everything in the world that goes on, man. Like I think people lack they just see something at the surface for what it is and they just go, that's red. So and so said it's red. I think it's red, so it's red. And like rather than really looking into it and like saying like we all have that ability to like take the extra step and go, wait, is this really what it seems? And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But like if you don't take that if you don't have the due diligence to do that, you sell yourself short on a lot of things, and it'll hold you back in life a lot.
Absolutely. How have you navigated when, like, for lack of a better example, someone you said, that's red, and then two other people go, yep, it's red, and then someone else goes, I think it's purple. Because for me, I feel like it would be hard to go, dude, what are you talking about? It's red. I know it's red. I'm looking at it. These two said it's red. You're saying it's purple. Explain to me why it's purple without me, like, because I'm very to the point.
Yeah.
I try to be as peaceful and patient as possible, but
Yeah.
the fuse, especially when I'm like, no, it's so black and white. That's what it is. So
Clean cut.
how do you navigate that? And what's like some things that you feel like would help people navigate that situation as well?
I like to use, like, in any situation, I like to use facts. Like, I believe in facts, scientifically proven facts, or just facts in general, no matter what it is. Like, you can't prove anything to me or disprove anything to me without giving me valid facts. So, if I were to say this is red and you said it's red, and then so and so said it's purple, I would say, well, why do you think it's purple? He might change my mind. You know what I mean? Because the type of person I am is he goes, well, it's purple because of this and that. But then I would be like, okay, well, let me look into that. So then I would look into that and go,
Yeah.
maybe if it's like a very valid source, I'm like, maybe it's purple.
Yeah, like if he
Or
took like the color spectrum and he's like, well, the colors from the wavelength from 700 to 800 like wavelengths per, like that's the purple, and this is emitting 740.
yeah,
You would go, hold on, that's
yeah,
a fact. Let me measure this. Okay, that's measuring 740.
I can't argue that.
Yeah,
And at the same time, like what I would do is like, if he can't prove that to me, well, let me prove to you why it's red
yeah. It's from 100 to 200, and this is a 130.
and it's red.
Yeah,
Like, and then like if they can't accept that, then I've done all I can, and I just
yeah,
kind of let it go. Like any situation, I've because so many times in my life, especially when I was younger, I would get unbelievably frustrated with people like that.
yeah,
When something is so blatantly obvious to me and they don't see it,
yeah,
I would get just so frustrated. And like I'm like, is this person just like slow? Why are they just like are they just dumb?
yeah,
Then like but maybe I was at the time. But at that, you know what I mean? If I feel like everyone has their own beliefs, everyone has their own like bias that they have, and it's like I'm I've become such an open-minded person as I get older that like I'm open to anything. Prove to me. If you can show me some evidence, I'll be like, well, damn. I mean, I can't argue with facts.
yeah. But I think the evident where I get frustrated too when I have those kinds of conversations is like when people go, oh, here's my evidence, and their evidence is opinions, or their evidence is like the hypothetical situation. That's their evidence. I get even more frustrated to the point where I'm like,
I agree.
I can't even have a conversation with you.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm done. So
Yeah, I agree.
And one thing that's like so hard is like differentiating, like, are they trying to really dictate this point, or are they trying to tell me an entire idea, right? Like if someone says something about, well, I think we should have more gun control, right? And my stance is completely different from theirs, or is the same, or whatever the situation is. What they're really saying is, I want my kids to be safe in school. I want my family to be safe outside. And I go, I totally agree with you. We just have maybe a different stance on how that can occur and how we can achieve that.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling you that I want chaos and riots in the street.
I don't want your kid to get shot.
I don't want your kid to get shot. That's not, but if we don't have that conversation, like sometimes people need to have that full on conversation because their point may be less guns, less violence. My point may be more people with guns that are going to use them responsibly, less bad guys that are going to use them irresponsibly. Because the good people are going to have them to defend themselves. Like, that's just like, that could be my point. And their point could, and it could all, we could have that conversation and it could wash out how it's going to wash out.
And I think a big thing, like when it comes to, for that specifically, like politics have become such a big part of like what side somebody chooses when it comes to gun control.
Yeah.
And people threw out logic.
Yes.
All right, so there's already guns out there. It would be physically impossible for us to go around and
collect
gather up all the guns that people already have. The guns are already there. So if you just say like, all right, no more people allowed to have guns, they're already out there.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna stop anything.
And who's gonna turn the guns in?
Who's gonna what good Samaritan's gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go turn this in.
Well, hold on. It's gonna be someone who's a law-abiding citizen. Right? Someone who goes, oh, the government says I can't have my gun anymore. Here's my gun.
And a criminal was going to keep them.
A criminal is going to go, I'm not giving you my gun. Why would I give you my gun? I'm a criminal. Why would I? Yeah. And I didn't want to be so point blank about my opinion, but that is my stance.
I agree.
The more, and like people were like, well, it's going to be so hard for them to find a gun. I'm like, no, what you're going to do is you're going to open up more marketplaces of illegal activity and illegal guns. But also, going against what I said earlier, that's a hypothetical. I don't know if that's going to happen. I have a pretty good idea that that's going to happen, but I don't know that that's going to happen. For all I know, the law enforcement does a great job of raiding places and keeping our ports safe and no guns coming in at all whatsoever. I would like to think that is the scenario, but have you ever heard of Six Sigma?
Mm-mm.
It's like a quality control thing that companies use. Even 6 standard deviations away from the mean is still not perfect. It's as perfect as you can get. But even with that, I believe it's one in every, it's either 30,000 or 300,000 is.
Yeah. Still one. Yeah. Yeah.
People taking bribes, people looking the other way, people being threatened, their families being threatened. They're like,
yeah, really.
This is not a perfect system.
There's so many variables that are like you can't control.
Exactly. And one thing that varies the most on this earth are people, because our mind play a role in what we do and how we act and everything. Like most studies, the sample size for humans is the most. Whenever a scientific study is being done, it has to be like, I think 3,000 people have to participate for the sample size to be even considered.
Yeah.
In like a peer-reviewed study, where like for normal stuff, I think I don't know the number exactly, but I do know the number for humans is 3,000, and it's like way more. Like I think it's like 100 or something like that if it's not a human. Yeah. Which like that already adds to the variability of everything.
It makes the numbers like the variables inside of and within that is insane.
Yeah, I think we all want the same goal. I think we're just arguing on how to get there. That's my main point.
I don't think no one in history, well, maybe not no one because there's some crazies out there,
Yeah.
hears about like a school shooting and goes, I love guns. I
Yeah.
love people having guns, and I think anyone should be able to have a gun. You know what I mean? But then, like, on the contrary, it's like, okay, but when somebody defends themselves and like, the person that killed that person that had the gun shooting up a Walmart
Yeah.
because he was able to conceal carry, thank God he had a gun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like, it's a double-edged sword, and it's almost like it's a double-edged sword, but like, I think my view on it is like, we absolutely need them. Think making it more challenging to get them will keep a lot of the people who have them, like they won't be able to obtain them. It will make it as hard as possible for them to obtain them. And like as far as like you have to do like not just like this loose background check, like can you pass a psych test? Can you pass like a certain IQ test that you have to score this much that you know that you are like you understand what you have and what this is in your hand? Um, and I don't think if you can do that, you shouldn't be able to wield something like that.
I do think that they should come with I would be for this. I think they should come with lessons.
It
Like
has to minimum.
like I can't just hand you the gun. I have to take you through a gun safety course
And
before you purchase it.
so in Maryland, when I got my gun safe, I had to do a class.
Yeah.
Like there's an instructor where you have to take a class, you shoot, you sit through an 8-hour course where you sit there and you learn about everything, and then you go out on a course and you shoot and you get graded. And you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
on top of a background check, on top of everything else. And like that's just when I was in Maryland. And I think like I mean Maryland is as far as like gun violence, it's still bad.
Yeah.
Because like the amount of illegal guns that you can get in certain cities is like it's alarming. But
Yeah.
like I think when you make it that difficult, and this is mainly for like when I think of like people going to a public place and performing terror, like killing innocent random people. That's what I think needs gun violence as far as like in the streets, like that. Yes, it's awful, it's terrible, but that is like
Two
a lot of
parties almost agreeing to the
they're
violence.
both in the wrong.
Yeah.
They both chose that.
Yeah.
But like I'm just shopping at a Walmart or I'm just a kid going to school and somebody comes in there and just starts lighting the place up. That's where I'm like, okay, that that is like way over the line. How do we stop that from happening? Like that's where we need to start. Like I don't care if Jim Bob, who lives in Kentucky, has a gun.
Yeah.
Jim Bob owns 100 acres of property. He's not going and shooting anybody.
Yeah.
But why is this 18-year-old kid allowed to walk into a Dick's Sporting Good and walk out of here with an AR?
I do think that guns should be sold at registered locations. That I do think is now I'm not saying that Walmart and Dick's aren't registered locations, but like if you got a 16-year-old checking out someone and they're giving them a gun, like that just doesn't seem right. Like, Randy that works part-time at the auto shop that also works at the gun store, he's the one that should be evaluating people because Randy's 45. He's been around people for a while and he knows who should have a gun and who may need checked
This
out.
guy's a little sketch.
Yeah. And I think that,
Not
yeah.
80-year-old retired Bertha who's just working at Walmart because
she's on the verge of dementia and she's handing fucking Glocks out. Like that should not happen. That should not be the case.
I agree.
She's probably accepting fake IDs at this point.
She doesn't even realize that they're fake. She just looks,
she is
like,
not.
"All right,
The kid handed her a Chuck E. Cheese photo card and she's like,
And
yep,
you're
you're
like-
good to go.
works for me.
And that I also don't want that to be seen as like old people can't do anything. But like, it should be done by someone who is registered or licensed with the state. They should be the one that is giving the guns out. And I believe it should be like free enterprise. I don't think that the state should regulate where the guns go or who gets the guns or whatever. But like it shouldn't be like the state owns the gun store, right? I don't think that should be the case. Like in Pennsylvania, the state owns the liquor stores, actually. I don't know if you know that. But like I believe it should be it could be any privatized company and they should be able to sell the guns, but the person who is selling them, they should be registered under some kind of, how to spot certain things, you have
have to take a course.
Yeah.
You have to, like you said, register. Like you have to go through some kind of testing or course to enable to get that certification to be able to register and do that.
Correct. And those places should have shooting ranges and classes. Oh, you want to buy a Glock today? We're going to have this person. They're going to take you through, dude, at minimum, a 2-hour course. Or if you don't want to buy it today, come back tomorrow when you have 2 hours. We're going to edge out 2 hours. We're going to teach you how to unload, how to load, how to clean, how to fire, how to everything, when to shoot, when not to shoot, trigger discipline, all those things where the safety is. I don't think it should just be like, here's your Glock. Have a great day. Like, yeah.
They're like, hey, what bullets does this shoot?
Yeah. What kind of ammunition should I get? And it's like,
wait, should this guy even have this?
Yeah.
He's like, wait, so I got this. What ammunition do I get for this gun?
Dude, that's an airsoft gun.
Yeah. Like, yeah, let me get some of those. Are like, those are buckshot shells. You got a Glock. You don't need shotgun shells.
Yeah.
Like,
that should be an immediate red flag that this should not be something that this person has.
Yeah, and person probably doesn't need that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so easy too for like judgment from the outside to happen, especially with like, oh, guns should not be allowed. But truly, I think like you say that until you're a mom in Walmart with your 2 kids, or you're a dad in Walmart with your 2 kids and you don't have a gun. Someone comes in to shoot the place up, and some guy with a concealed carry permit pulls out his gun, puts 2 in the guy's chest, and you and your kids are safe.
Yeah.
And you're like, the next day, you're like, no, Second Amendment. What are we talking about? Yes.
I'm getting a gun.
I'm getting a gun. I'm getting 10. What are we talking? Yeah. Like, I don't think until you're in that position or you can visualize that situation occurring that you can truly be like it's all theory and it's all philosophy until it's real. And then once it's real, you're like, oh my gosh, thank God that dude had a gun.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we have a Second Amendment, or else
I would be dead.
Yeah. And if you still take the perspective after that of, oh, well, if we didn't have a Second Amendment, that first guy wouldn't have walked in to begin with. No, he would have. He would have found a way. He's a criminal. He would have found a way to do that anyway if he wanted to.
If it wasn't a gun, it would have been a knife.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have been some other form of a weapon.
Yes.
If he had the agenda in there to go in there and kill people, he would have made a bomb.
Yeah.
It would have been something that he would have used to kill people.
Yeah.
If he had that mindset.
Absolutely. You think not having a gun is going to stop someone who was going into a place to kill random innocent people anyway? It's not.
That's what he made his mind up long before.
For sure. And that's one of those, it's red. No, it's purple for me.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But I agree. I'm so down to hear why it's purple though. But
to me, it's red.
You're going to have to give me all of the evidence. I need studies. I need it shown in other countries. I need it. And if you show me other countries and it goes, oh, we outlawed guns and violence has been up 200% since, I'm just going to look at you like, that's a great opinion you have. That's a great theory. In theory, no one would ever need a gun. In theory, right. I would love that. No one, dismantle them from our ideas, from our imaginations.
They never existed.
They can never exist ever. Great. But they do.
Yeah, so it's over.
So we need to be educated on how to use them. And we need to be educated that these are things that need to happen and that need to occur. And I mean, if people disagree, people disagree. 100% standing by that opinion.
The ball's red.
Yeah, the ball's red.
It's gonna take a lot for you to show me it's purple.
Dude, so much.
It's gonna take a miracle for you to convince me that ball is purple.
And some people are like, well, what happens if, you have a kid and they get killed by, a school shooter or something like that? And I'm like, well, my first question is going to be, why didn't anyone have a gun? Because the school shooter was not going to be stopped by who else? Why didn't someone else have one?
Yeah, he would have had a knife, or he would have made a pipe bomb, or you know how easy. Like if you can go on Google and look up how to make. Like if this kid really wanted people gone, he would, and there wasn't a gun around, he would have done that.
Yeah.
But no, he walked into your local Bass Pro Shop and was like, "Hey, Bernice, I'm here to buy an AR-15." And Bernice looked at his ID with her glasses and said, "That looks right."
Yeah.
And handed it to him and handed him a box of ammunition, and he went on his way.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, just as easy as that is, he could have went and got the supplies or a knife or whatever it may have been to go terrorize people like he wanted to.
Yeah.
The gun wasn't what did it. It was the
Yeah.
person who did it.
Correct.
And why did another person in that building not have a weapon?
Yeah.
To save
That would have been my first, like I think, like, there was I forget what it was, but there was a school, and there was a gunman threat. A gunman threat or a bomb threat, one of the two. So what one of the teachers did was went home, got a shotgun, and sat on the front porch of the school. And no one showed up. Because, okay, you have a gun? Great, so do I.
Yeah. Even the playing field now.
Yeah, come on. Let's go. You have a gun? Cool. So do I. Let's see what happened. No, and no one showed up. Now, it could have been an empty threat. I don't know. I wasn't there. I have no idea. But it just goes to show that, like, the only reason they're doing it in these places is because they know that they're in full control. They can shoot, and if, very sadly, very tragically, sometimes they end up taking their own life, but they want to be in full control, or they go down swinging, they run into police hellfire, and like they are in control of everything. And I mean, two things that I can think of on the top of my head that like really would be beneficial for kids is like having the more clubs that a school has, I feel like the better it is, because you can find your group. You're not good at basketball, you're not good at football, you're not good at you're not good at sports, right? At least there's chess club. There's, if you're an international student, some kind of like international multicultural
club.
Yeah.
Anything.
Computer programming. Yeah, that's great, actually. Yeah. There's something that everyone is interested in. Like, also, I feel like schools should be more open to allow kids to start their own clubs.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you may not get school funding for the Pokemon club, but like, you can have a fundraiser.
That's going to be the whole, like, that's going to make 10 kids whole day.
They got 10 friends they play Pokemon with all that, like after school every day or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that like really promoting that is something that would really, really be able to like open up everyone, like just make everyone feel included. And I feel like that's really what like happens with.
That's where the disconnect happens.
Yeah, they don't feel included.
Feels alone. They feel like they don't have anything. They feel alone. They feel lost.
Yeah.
And they feel like the world is against them. And they feel like the world has always been against them.
Yeah.
And they finally say, this is my chance to stand up against the world.
Yeah. And they're also like never humbled either. When you isolate yourself, you're the best.
Yeah.
When you're isolated, you're the best. I play this game by myself all the time against the computer on easy mode. I'm the best at this game.
I'm the best in the world.
Yeah. And then you play with someone who plays on like medium and they smoke you. And you're like, I suck. Same thing with football. Like when I was playing football, I thought I was really, really good until one day the guard blocks down and I get through. I'm like, this guy didn't even block me. And I got blindsided by a pulling guard and got laid out when I was like in 6th grade playing with 8th graders. Like that difference is crazy. Got decked by him. And like I was laying down on the ground and it humbles you. Like you were not great. And even playing Pokemon, you may get beat by 8 of the people and you're like, I gotta get better. I
gotta get better.
Yeah. I got something to strive for now. And then it takes away your focus from that isolation. And it's very, very important.
I think that it's becoming more of a problem, like kids being isolated and just living in this bubble. And then at some point that bubble's going to burst. And then it may be when you're 12 years old. It might be when you're 22 years old. And then like it bursts and now you're in reality and you're in the real world and you've never had to deal with real world shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it will smack you in the face. And if you don't know how to like respond to it, then you respond however you see fit.
Yeah.
And that's where crazy stuff starts to happen because some people's minds are like out there.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting change watching other people flip over and also seeing how you flipped over. from like whatever kind of bubble you had to where you're at now.
Yeah.
Like, you ever like watch like a video or see a picture of yourself like 10 years ago and you're like, how is he alive? Is he like, he's alive? That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Watching videos of me and my college friends driving down the street,
Yeah.
hammered, drinking while we're driving, and going to the bar, and it being 4 a.m. and walking home blacked out drunk, and like,
Yeah. How did no one stab me and take my wallet?
yeah, waking up the
Yeah.
next day like, how did I even get home? And then my car's parked outside, and I'm like, oh, I drove
That's rough.
kind of far, and I'm like 20 minutes, and all my friends were with me too. Everyone was in the car.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Absolutely.
And then do the same thing the next night. So it's like it was like you said, like it's like you wonder, like everyone, like we're all so lucky to be where we're at now, because like how many near death experiences you've had without even realizing that you had.
Yeah.
And like that could have been it. That could have been your last moment, and somehow it wasn't.
On top of the ones that you watched and you're like, oh, whoa.
That you felt.
Yeah.
It's insane to think about.
It's definitely interesting and, very blessed to have someone looking over us the whole time whenever we're in those situations, for sure.
That it's like, all right, I should not be where I'm at right now, but like, thank God that I am.
Absolutely.
And like, I learned. Thank God that I was able to learn from a lot of the mistakes that I've made and say, hey, I'm not going to make those mistakes anymore. Even though the consequence wasn't dire.
Yeah.
Understanding what the consequences could have been. Because I mean, like, I've had friends die in car accidents. I'm sure it's so regular nowadays that like we all have motorcycle accidents, car accidents, drunk driving, whatever it may be. And it's like, that could have very well been me because I was doing the same exact things that they were.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I'm still here, and it's like maybe I have a bigger purpose, and I chalk it up to that.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to keep playing around with death and keep doing the same thing over and over again, because it's like I watched Final Destination too many times.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, especially when you realize it, because at that point, it becomes you are deliberately choosing to put yourself in harm's way. And it's like, now it's kind of dumb.
Now it's like, all right, how many times are you going to get away with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Preston, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast and being able to catch up. It. Yeah, absolutely, man.
We gotta start hanging out more, man.
Yeah, dude, I would really, really appreciate that. We should get a lift in soon, for sure. Yeah.
Football season's coming up. We'll have to go out and watch some games or something.
Oh yeah, dude, I would. I completely missed that last year. Working at Crunch because I worked all the time. And then actually last year I was at Amazon, dude. So I was working Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah, I mean I could watch Thursday night football if I wanted to.
Depending on who plays, it's not even worth it.
Yeah, but yeah, this year I'll be free on Sundays. So yeah,
man,
that'd be sick.
We'll have to get a lift in, go watch some football for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. That'd be sick. Yeah, man. Like I said, great podcast. I really appreciate having you on. I appreciate you taking the time. It's actually my longest one I've done ever, actually.
Yeah, man, I was enjoying it. I looked up at the time. I didn't realize how long we were talking. We went from then we started talking about gun control, and I'm like invested into this.
Yeah, we could definitely. I'd be down to do another episode with you as well. I would really enjoy that, actually.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool.
Do you want to drop like your Instagram or any kind of like codes you have? I don't know if you're sponsored by anyone specifically or anything.
Not sponsored by anyone. My Instagram is just my name, one word, Preston Carey with 2 Y's at the end. CAREYY.
Awesome.
I mean, all I really post on there is my dogs and fitness stuff. So if you like dogs and you're into fitness, that's your page to follow.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for coming on again. And for everyone out there listening, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, and I post on Instagram 3 days a week. Just started doing 3 days a week now to give you guys some reels and some content. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. And as always, stay blessed.